So, it's been a little while since we made a video. Things haven't been good. Haven't really felt inspired to talk about it. I just think Spurs were top of the table after the Arsenal game and after the Crystal Palace game. Going into that Liverpool game at Anfield. That was at the start of December. Now we're at the start of February. And we look like a lower half team. Look like we'll struggle to finish in the top half of the table. So what's happened? Apart from Spurs being Spurs, what's happened?
Don't really know.
Don't really know. Well, what do you just take in the Brighton game? What did you see on the pitch?
Some players look like they wanted to win, and others look like they wanted to win more. Like Ndombele and Hyper. I don't know, they just look like they wanted to win more. They were trying harder to win.
Yeah, and in fairness, I would throw Sissoko in with them, even though he just simply doesn't have the talent and he's played out of position. But yeah, there's a lot of the players just look like they're going through the motions. And normally when we see this, the term for it is that the manager has lost the dressing room. And we said this about Pochettino. Before we made our first video, we were saying this amongst ourselves about Pochettino when he had lost the dressing room, and before that, we were saying it about Tim Sherwood, AVB, Harry. It seems to be in a team's life, they come to this point where it's just no longer working and they're not listening to the manager. They don't want to play for him. I can't say whether it's there, but that seems to be the general consensus among the fans, and it's hard to argue against it. I mean, the team look like they're in disarray. What about the Aurier incident?
Apparently Aurier and Hugo had a big fight in the dressing room, and then Aurier got subbed and he left the stadium and went home, I guess.
And then was nowhere to be seen for the Brighton game.
Yeah.
Well, a team fighting to that degree where he felt he had to go home. I mean,
that's not good.
It's not good at all. No, I mean, yeah, I'd like to see a little bit of passion in the player. You know, if a player is unhappy being substituted, yeah, I'm with that, rather than player being happy being substituted. But it does seem a bit extreme, and they were both culpable for that goal. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not worth who exactly was most at fault isn't really the most important thing. But yeah, the two of them and Dyer were all to blame. And so the point being that Hugo wasn't in a position to be telling anyone else this. Look, you didn't do your job, because he didn't do his job either. Yeah. So yeah, it's that type of infighting isn't good. I don't like to hear it at all. You know, when it's at that level, as I said, a little bit sure, but that sounds like it's just too much. I would imagine the Delhi situation hasn't helped. I can't imagine that everybody is happy that he's been marginalised the way he is, even though he's injured at the moment. But leading up to that, that's another possibility as to why the squad are unhappy. They might just be fed up with playing Mourinho ball. I mean, I know I'm fed up watching it. As I've said several times in these videos, it's only acceptable if we win the league. And only for we got a good few points in the first half of the season, we look more like getting relegated than winning the league.
But I think we still have a chance to win in the league, that cup against Man City and the Europa League.
Well, Man City are playing well, but it's a one-off game and it's not for a couple of months yet. So who knows what could happen, okay?
Yeah. Hopefully they get lots of injuries.
I don't wish it. Look, I don't wish it. Well, look, I don't wish injuries on anyone. Yeah, well, hopefully they get lots of minor injuries, and they're all okay. They can't play that day, and they're all okay the next week. Yeah. How about that? Yeah, it's not impossible, and there is time to turn it around. But and just on the Europa League, there's a lot of games a lot of games have to be gone through before getting anywhere near winning that. That really doesn't seem it doesn't seem feasible at the moment. Playing they can't beat Brighton. Like, Brighton haven't won a home game all season. Now, we said after the home game against Brighton that they didn't look a bad side. We've seen play teams that looked a lot worse than them. But I think we made them look better. They looked like they had a couple of extra players on the pitch. If they were getting to all the loose balls quicker, they just wanted it more. And that's the problem with this Spurs team. We're back to that again, where we look like we don't want it anymore. Looks like there's no confidence in the team. So what happened? I mean, who knows? We're just speculating here. I thought that after a couple of games afterwards, I thought that where the turn was half time against Arsenal. I thought that, as much as I hate to say it, they figured us out, and the way they played in the second half, they just didn't allow us to counter, and we don't have a plan B. If we're not sitting back, playing rigidly, defensively, and trying to hit the other team on the counter, we don't know what to do. We've tried, and it hasn't worked. And then the Liverpool game, it's like got beat by them again, and I don't know whether the players have given up since then. We just really haven't looked at it. A couple of good moments in the cup against lower league teams. We beat Leeds, we beat Sheffield United, shall I say. But they didn't look good. They both look like poor teams. We had terrible result against Fulham, where we were awful. We made Fulham look like Barcelona in the second half. It was terrible, terrible stuff. So this isn't a complete surprise. I mean, earlier in the season, beat Burnley and West Brom, and arguably we shouldn't have. We scraped by the two of them. And all along, whatever the result has been, we have looked terrible. And now, against Liverpool, disallowed goal in the first minute, and even by the current laws, the defender's arm was playing him onside, according to what I saw in the video. I just felt that was a bad omen. Then Harry Kane goes off. We let in a stupid goal just before half time. Another stupid one just after. It's like we just can't help ourselves. We just keep making mistake after mistake. Brighton goal was another mistake. Davies was all over the camp. It's just sad. The last two games, now back to Mourinho, the last two games he starts with three at the back. And I cannot understand why. And in both games he changed it to four at the back. Surely after doing it the first time he realised it didn't work. But no, goes out against Brighton and does the same thing. Again, it doesn't work. Kane is out. We knew Kane was going to. We didn't want to say it, but we knew Kane was going to miss a few weeks with some sort of injury, as he tends to do around this time of year. It's what happens when you play so many games. And we wanted a backup striker to come in. We got one, who by all accounts has done well in Portugal, and for the small amount of opportunities he's been given, he's done well at Spurs.
Yeah.
And we looked a lot better with him on the pitch in the second half. But why he wasn't on at half time against Liverpool and starting against Brighton is beyond me. He needs to play games. And he will score goals. He had a very good shot against Brighton. They're our best effort at goal. Just need to get him the ball most of the time that second half. You just weren't getting him the ball. When he got the ball, he came close to scoring. It's just thinking back to the Liverpool game. What was Jose thinking? Bringing on Lamela instead. Look, Lamela is what he is, and he has his role. But when you're chasing the game at half time against the champions, you need to bring on your forward, not Lamela. And then same has happened as in other seasons. There's no focal point to the attack. It's easy to defend. Just a big man up there who's able to hold the ball up and bring others into play. really works like Kane does. Vinicius can do it as well. I think given he's shown enough to show that he has promise in adapting to playing in England. He still doesn't speak the language well enough to. Maybe that's an issue, but still, football's football. I think that it's just a case of getting the ball, and he'll do something, even if it's just to take the defenders out of the game, to give the likes of Son and Lucas more space. I don't know. So I suppose we're back to this again. Players are not confident, don't want to play for the manager, and some of them just aren't any good. You've got a back four from Pochettino's days of Davies, Dyer, Sanchez, and Aurier, who all have mistakes in them. Doherty's come in and he's looked a shadow of the player that Wolves had. He's got as many mistakes in him as the rest of them. Toby's a class act, but he's lost a yard of pace, and he just doesn't seem to be quite the player he was, which I suppose if you're playing with those guys beside you, it's hard to be. Then we've got Roden, who's come in, he's inexperienced. So look, he gets a break for the moment, but you've got a defence like that, you're going to let in goals. So we don't seem to be able to defend. And if anything, we were doing okay, playing forward at the back, sitting back, and then he changes it to 3 at the back. And if it's not working, why change it? Yeah, it's frustrating. Bergwijn still offers nothing. And Ndombele has got some plaudits in the last few games. He scored 2 very good goals against Wycombe and also the one
tricks.
And the one. Well, that's the thing. Also the one against Sheffield. But yeah, he does a nice little trick and just plays a short pass. Most of the time, there's no progression from them. It's a lot, and I know he was trying hard, but I don't think he played great against Brighton. I know, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think he played great. And I don't think he played great against Liverpool. I don't even think he played well against Sheffield United, even though the goal was special. But he's probably the only player there who can pick out a true ball. And the subject of goal's been special. Højbjerg's goal against Liverpool was special as well. Mm-hmm. So look, a few little positives, but at the moment, it's hard to feel positive. Mm-hmm. Could just imagine if there was a crowd in the stadium now against Chelsea on Thursday. And when we lose it, and we are going to lose that game, there's no doubt. Chelsea have got new manager. They've got new manager rebound. They've just got a new manager. Dortmund's old manager, I think he was at PSG, and Poch just replaced him there. He may turn out to be a very good appointment, and he's gone to Chelsea. When perhaps we could have got rid of Jose and signed him, but time will tell. It's too early to say. But look, it just wouldn't surprise me. It's our way to just get things wrong. New manager bounce. We're in an absolute rut. So I can't see anything other than Chelsea winning 2 or 3-0. And I think if there was a crowd in the stadium, it would be just boos. I mean, the game against Brighton, I got to the point where I was spending more time on Twitter and Facebook seeing what other people were saying about the game, which I don't do. I leave it till the end. But it was so boring. It was like watching Ireland play. That's how bad it was. Mm-hmm. When you just know they don't know how to score. And it's just a case of getting through the game. Just fall asleep. It was that boring. What did you think? Was there any entertainment value for us unless you were a Brighton supporter?
No.
There just wasn't. And in fairness, they deserved to win. And if Brighton had won that game 2 or 3-0, I don't think we could say that it was a fluke. They would fully deserved it. So anyway, where does that leave us? Mourinho in or out?
I think maybe out.
You think out?
Yeah.
So what would you do? Would you sack him now, or would you wait till the end of the season?
Maybe sack him now.
You'd sack him now. So
maybe.
So who would we put in charge? Now I know you haven't had time to think about the question.
I don't even know half them. I don't even know barely any managers, so I don't know.
That's a fair point. The chances are it might just be one of his assistants. It's not like Ledley has ever managed a team
How about
before.
Leslie King then?
That's what I said. How about Ledley King? He doesn't have any management experience, and I think when Levy tried that experiment with Tim Sherwood, promoting him from the youth team to first team manager, it didn't work out. So I think he'll probably be hesitant to do that. Also, if you get Mourinho signed a 2.5 year deal at November last year, so he still has a year and a half left. I mean, if he leaves now, that's a year and a half of wages they have to pay him.
That's not good.
No, it's not good. And under the current climate, I can't see them doing that and paying somebody else. But we are going backwards. We're going backwards again. Like, arguably, we're no worse now than we were during the last days against Pochettino. But I don't see any way up. I don't see us spending money. I mean, back to spending money. Why are we paying Bale $200,000 a week?
I thought Real Madrid was
they're paying the rest of it. They are paying most of it, but apparently Spurs are still paying £200,000 a week. His wage in Madrid was £600,000 a week. He's clearly past it. He just doesn't have that. He's lost more than a yard of pace, or and he looked happy to be taken off. Yeah, he looked like he was progressing against Wycombe, but it's bloody Wycombe. Against Brighton, he looked dreadful again.
Mm-hmm.
And when you just wonder whether that was a Levy signing, as I said, I said all along it was going to be a good signing commercially, but football-wise, it hasn't worked out. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's in February now. We're more than halfway through the season, and we can't be saying, "Oh yeah, he's going to come good. He's going to come good." If he hasn't come good by now, he's not going to.
Yeah.
He just doesn't look like he's. He just doesn't look like he's in it. He seems happy enough to sit on the bench. So that's not encouraging either. Hopefully Kane's only out for 2 weeks. That's what they're saying. Yeah. The fact that he didn't come straight off on the stretcher or anything, like his previous injuries, makes me think it's not a long one. It's not a couple of months, but 2 weeks, could be 3, 4, could be a month at the most. But hopefully only 2 weeks. But he's going to miss a few games. A lot of games to be missed, and Mourinho just has to get his act together. We have to play 4 at the back. This 3 at the back stuff isn't happening. We got to play 4 at the back. Whatever Aurier has done, he just has to put them in the team because Doherty is hopeless. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Reggie's out injured with a hamstring. I think it could be a few weeks as well. So we're going to have to put up with Davies at left back, and it has to be Toby and Roten at the back for the centre halves for me. Yeah. And as a 2, they let in a goal against Brighton. If anything, it was on Davies. But I still think I prefer that partnership to anything with Dyer or Sanchez in it. That's what it has to be. And I think the midfield too has to be Højbjerg and Sissoko.
Yeah.
With Tanguy, Son, and one out of Lamela, Mora, and Bergwijn and Bale. One out of those 4 with Vinicius up front. That's what the team needs to be.
Yeah. Moving
forward. And that needs to be that team as much as possible. Because it's the foundation of what's going to work. What has worked so far this season, without Kane, in fairness, but at least with our closest like-for-like replacement. That's what it needs to be, and we just need to stay tight at the back the way we were and be allowed to play football a bit more. See, this is the thing about playing. And I was going to say again about the Liverpool game. If anything, a mistake we made there was we went a little bit too gung-ho at the start of the second half. Like, I don't know whether the players I don't know what you said to them, whether they just lost their discipline. They let in a ridiculous goal, and then when it was 2-1, they continued to do the same thing. So I don't know whether they're listening to him. Anyway, I'm rabbiting on here. I'm just going on and on because, look, it's hard not to be annoyed or frustrated at us because it's just got so hard to watch, and we've been here before. You get your hopes up, and, well, you should know better because this is Tottenham, lads.
But I just want us to win 1 trophy this year, and I'll be happy.
You'll be happy with a trophy?
Yeah.
So do you think all this Mourinho ball is going to be worth it for one League Cup?
At least a trophy, I'd be happy.
Ah, well, a league will...
Or a Champion League spot.
Well, it looks like the only way we're getting one of those is if we win the Europa League. Like, yeah, it's not, mathematically we're not out of it because somebody else just needs to go on a bad run and we need to go on a good run. But I can't see this happening. And just about, I'm sorry, you're just going to go back on what I said about what the team should be. Just forgetting one element of it, which is as soon as possible, Dele needs to play.
Yeah.
Dele needs to play and he needs to be allowed to be Dele. There's enough defensive players to cover him. He needs to be allowed to try things, you know. So, and we've got Lo Celso to come back as well.
Yes.
Who perhaps has been missed a little bit too. So yeah, there's those players in the mix as well. But I think that back four for now, Reggie in when he comes back, those two in the middle, and Kane or Vinicius up front, and Tanguy and two others in that three behind. And I think that's how we have to progress. And I just hope the players aren't trying to get the manager sacked because it just means the season is rolled off. I just hope they can get it back together. The pride can be swallowed, and the manager can swallow his pride if need be to do what's best for the team, and players likewise. And we'll see where we are now after Chelsea. And I think what we got West Brom then at the weekend.
I don't know.
Like, yeah, it'll be a home. We played West Brom away already, so I think it's West Brom. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
You know, we win in the unlikely event we win both those games. Well, things aren't so bad. But that team doesn't look like they could beat a bunch of part-timers. They look like if that team last night had been playing Wycombe that way, they would have got beat.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've been here before and I'm not sure we're getting anywhere further. So if you have anything else to say, or if those lads got to do a dance before we leave, they don't feel like dancing, do they? They're just too sad. Watching Spurs just makes us sleepy. And that's not what we're about. So with that, we say goodbye until the next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.